Hey everyone, my name is Niklas with say.digital. In today's video, you'll learn about 5 great out-of-the-box HubSpot reports that are great for B2B sales environments. Alright, let's dive right into this. So I've created a custom dashboard here with the 5 reports we're going to talk about today. And we'll start with the first one, which is called Deal Stage Funnel. So what you're seeing here is all your deal stages that you've defined. So from all created deals to appointment schedule, qualified to buy, presentation scheduled, and so on and so forth. The count of the deals, so how many deals are actually in these stages. And then what you can see is both the next step conversion, so how many deals or what is the percentage of deals that converts from this stage to the next one, and then the cumulative conversion, so how many of the total deals actually pass through. And what this deal helps you with is basically two things. Well, first of all, it helps you to understand your sales process, effectiveness, and efficiency. So you'll see, okay, where do we actually, in what deal stages, do we lose a lot of customers? Where do we have poor conversion, which is the one thing, right? So you can address that, look into the different stages, talk to the reps on why that might be, check with your internal sales teams, understanding, okay, what is the issue here? So that's one of the implications from that. And then the other one is, and that is something we actually see quite often, is really questioning yourself and your model in sales on whether you have defined the right deal stages. So if you see a lot of deals actually skip one of the stages, is that an issue with the reps following the process, or is the deal stage maybe poorly defined or doesn't align with your business model? So that's one of the implications we often see from the deal stage funnel. So we actually look at all the different deal stages and we try to understand, okay, does that actually make sense? And then there's the other more actionable bit, that is understanding conversion rates and what you can do to improve conversion rates from one deal stage to the other. And I mean, we can all understand, like, if cumulative conversion maybe towards the end is, say, 5%, and you have a funnel of 100 million for all created deals and you just improve by 1%, that's already makes quite a difference, right? So that's the deal stage funnel, always a go-to for us. Next on the line is the waterfall diagram, which is particularly used in communications with senior management or assessing business unit performance. So the waterfall basically indicates your starting pipeline value. I've gone to the very beginning of this model, which is why this is at 0. But then for a given period of time, you can see, in addition to your starting pipeline value, how many new deals were created, how many deals were pushed out, meaning the close date has been moved out, how many did you lose, how many did you win, which obviously is deducted from your pipeline because they then actually become buying customers, and then you have your ending pipeline value. And this just gives you a good indication. So if you compare starting pipeline value and ending pipeline value of whether or not your business is moving in the right direction and what kind of the issues are. I mean, if you've won a couple bigger projects, you may not be worried about your pipeline being not growing super heavily. But if that's because you're pushing out a lot of deals or you're losing a lot of deals, then that's more an area of concern, right? So the waterfall is great for communicating progress, assessing high-level business performance, and then drilling down further into all these details. All right. Next on the line, time spent in deal stages. One of our favorites, to be honest, one of my favorites. And what you can see here is basically all your deal stages here in the legend, and then the amount of days or amount of time, can be hours as well, that deals typically on average spend in this stage. And this is also great, pretty much in line with what we discussed earlier, to understand, like, okay, where in the process do we have significant delays? Why does it take so long for a deal from qualified to buy to move to presentation scheduled, or from presentation scheduled to decision maker buy-in, right? Why does it take a significant amount of time? Maybe it's because customers lack critical information, or potential customers lack critical information, right? So think about complex B2B environments in the industrial world. It's a very technical process. A lot of people need to be involved to make a decision, and maybe the engineers lack some information that they would need to make an educated decision, which they don't have or need to manually ask the rep for. So this is all something where you can tailor nice content strategies and really think about, okay, what do our potential customers really need to make a decision, right? And if you see outliers here, I mean, right now, everything is at 83.5 days because we're just using generic data. But if you see outliers here in certain stages, this is where you want to spend your time and energy on to make your sales process more effective and efficient, right? So you want to look into those bars that are delaying the time from basically first contact or deal creation to winning deals. And then you want to spend your time there on improving that, making that process more efficient, and thinking about great content or other tactics and strategies to reduce the time there. So that's always a great entry point for improvements in the process world. And in a very similar vein, you have the deal push rate. So what you can see here is per deal stage, how many deals actually get pushed, meaning their close date gets pushed out, and how many don't. And what's important about this is it gives you a very good indication of forecast reliability. So if you know that you have a very high push rate, you know that the forecast probably doesn't materialize in the way that you're planning it on materializing, because you know that a lot of the deals historically got pushed out. So most likely, your forecast isn't super reliable. So that's the one angle. And then the other one is, if you have a high push rate, why is that, right? So is that because there's an issue with forecasting through the reps? Is there a process issue, like they have a different understanding of a close date than what you were thinking it to be? Or is that actually very similar to time spent in deal stage? Is that actually something that delays it either internally? So say the customer needs more information, reaches out to your internal teams, but they're buried in work, so it takes ages for them to get back to the prospect. And then you need to move out the close date just because they don't have the information they need to make a decision in time, right? These are some of the typical conclusions that you can draw from the deal push rate report. And then the last one, pretty simplistic, but always a go-to as well in senior management kind of updates or communications, is the deal revenue forecast by stages. So you just look at, say here in the last 90 days, total deal revenue forecast is $151K. And then this is basically broken down into the different deal stages that you have. And what's important about this is you can see the percentages here, which is basically how they're weighted, right? So the probability is factored in here, like a prospect, like you have 40K sitting and qualified to buy, but this is just at 40% because you don't know yet if they're actually going to take the decision. If you have a contract sent, you're much further down the sales process, so it's much more likely that this actually materializes. So this is all factored in here, and it gives you a good idea of, okay, if you have 150K sitting in your forecast, how likely is that actually going to be to materialize, and where does it really sit, and in what stages do we have a lot of our forecasted revenue sitting? And same as with all the previous reports, this can also influence some of your decisions then. If you see, okay, a lot of the deal revenue forecast is maybe stuck in presentation scheduled or so, you can look at some of the other graphs and think about, okay, how do we make this move faster, pipeline velocity, into some of the later stages? So decision maker, buy-in, contract sent, and then closing it out. All right, and those were the 5 reports that are especially relevant if you want to take a look at your B2B sales efforts. And you may want to ask now, like, where do you actually find these reports? Because Nicholas said they're out of the box. So where you can find them is when you go to reports and then analytics tools, and then you go to sales analytics. And then here on the left, You can, for example, find the time spent in deal stage report, and then just go through all the options that you have here, and you'll find all of the reports that I shared with you in this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more helpful tutorials and tips on how to get the most out of your HubSpot portal. And also, don't miss out on our new exclusive guide with 7 powerful HubSpot hacks that help you optimize performance and increase productivity in your HubSpot portal. The download is free, and you can find the link below this video.